and I am Director of Programs for the U.S. Black Chambers. And we're going to be talking today about Chase's program, Advancing Black Entrepreneurs. I am thrilled to have with me today two Chase bankers who have done so much for this program in ensuring that not only our chambers have the ability to provide it to their membership, but we also have sort of crossed the lines and gone outside of our sphere almost, with having non-members join as well. And so I'd like to introduce to you today Lisa Stevens, who is a senior consultant at Chase for Business, and Shay Taylor, who is a senior consultant at Chase for Business. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you.
So we're going to jump right into our conversation. I am really thrilled to be able to present this program over the course of the past year and a half. And I want to spend our time today talking about not only how beneficial the program is, but also how it really has helped our business owners rethink what they're doing with capital, rethink how they're growing their businesses, and really navigate themselves out of COVID just through the dialogue that we have through our sessions, but also the content that you all share. So tell me how you would describe Chase Advancing for Black Entrepreneurs and how it was designed to help businesses navigate through the pandemic.
So you'll give me that one?
I'm going to give you that one, Shay.
I'm going to give you that. Okay, great. I'm from the South, so I always do ladies first, so sorry about that.
I appreciate that.
Yes, so I think the thing, here's the specialty. You know, Lisa and I both are both backgrounds with the firm. We come from a business banking background, where to be in our book of business, to get technical assistance and advisory, you had to have a certain revenue number just to get in our book of business. At least I'm pretty sure your time in banking, it was the same way. And it's like that not only at Chase, across the board in the financial industry on the business and personal side. What that does is it locks out the quintessential entrepreneur, small business owner, to where they get their technical assistance is from mother, sister, cousin, friend, referral. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's no quality assurance. There's no specific, no industry specificity. Where now what Chase has done, which I really like for the Black community, they have people like myself in Atlanta, Lisa in LA, that not only have done the hand-to-hand combat, working with business owners, doing lending, doing advisory, doing all the technical assistance things, but we brought that to the quintessential small business owner and evaporated that line for them to have that technical assistance. And the beautiful part is you get that quality assurance because you have someone that has been there, done that, have a couple t-shirts on it, and can really bring that to the owner in a way that is free without any catches. So that's the way I would kind of wrap the program up and what it does for business owners.
Shay, I would agree with that. I think what's been really helpful for all of the business owners that have gone through it thus far over the past year or so has been, not only was it helpful initially through the pandemic, right? Just as everything was sort of, no one knew what to do. Business was falling off, particularly for Black businesses. It really gave owners an opportunity to talk about what was happening with them, but to also hear some really creative ideas about how best to change their model, right? Change what they were doing. And so, Lisa, as you've worked on this program, how do you see it helping businesses? How do you see it benefiting them in terms of the content that is provided?
Yes, just to kind of double click on what Shay said, it's without this program, we rely on our mother, sister, aunts, uncle, family members, and yes, they are successful, but the benefit of having the one-on-one mentorship, which we provide, gives you not only that up-to-date information, but because we are experts at what we do, we are sitting in the heart of the business lending and the business financial world. We have the latest and the greatest of information, right? We have that resource that maybe some of your relatives may not have had the opportunity. So being a part of our mentorship program, and I'll go a little bit more into that, through our $30 billion commitment, Chase has positioned, we have Shay in Atlanta, Lisa in Los Angeles, across 13 different cities where we are positioning senior consultants who have lived through the experience of businesses that are startup all the way up to $30, $50 million businesses, that we are living proof of knowing the secret ingredients, I should say, the secret sauce to how to keep businesses successful. So through our one-on-one mentorship program, it could be anywhere from 3 months to a year. We want to make sure that the pillars that you need to have a successful business and to be sustained and scale, we're providing you that information. The benefits to this program is you don't have to be a Chase customer. We are committed to the community. So whether you are a Chase customer or not, you have our one-to-one mentorship commitment. We don't have production goals. We don't have sale goals. So it's not, oh, once we talk to you, you got to bring your account over. That's not what it's about. Our commitment is sincere. And we want to make sure that we're giving you the tools to be successful in your journey on your business. In every business, there's no two businesses that are the same, right? So we provide that one-to-one so we get to know you and we figure out what it is to help you to scale. We open up the doors of resources to help to make sure you're certified. We want to give you that opportunity to compete in those revenue streams that you may not have understood that you have the ability to compete. So because we've been lacking so much information and access to opportunity and resources, many of our community businesses, Black and brown businesses, they don't have that ability to scale as other businesses do. But that's all changed now. So through our program, and the benefits of our program is we're giving you those tools to be successful.
Yeah, I think that was really one of the great benefits of this program, was the idea that you didn't have to be a customer of Chase.
Yeah.
And I think that was really a great galvanizer for people. For both of you, as you've taught, across this platform, tell me some of the things that have been engaging for you. I know for me, it's been being able to, hear from businesses directly as we're doing our virtual calls. What have you learned? What's been important for you, and what have you all been able to impart as part of this new platform?
One of the things that I've learned is businesses know more than they think they know. It's just a matter of how do I use the knowledge I know, right? So I love, Shay's analogy about family members and family and friends that are entrepreneurs, and they've done extremely well. And I've learned through the program is the business owners that we work with, not only are they sincere and they want to learn and they want to do this, they're so appreciative of the information that they are provided. And just to watch them change the scale of their business from their revenue just jumping up just one notch is amazing. Or bringing on one new employee, we've empowered the community. So just to watch the businesses grow over the time that they're spending with us, the opportunities that they're afforded, the commercials that they're now on. You see a lot of our Chase commercials, those are our mentees, and we're so excited. You walk into the Chase branch and you see our mentees on the marquee. So what I'm experiencing from, what we're doing here is we're really making a difference, and we're tapping into clients and we're giving them that aha moment and just that celebratory to know that all that they've done is now starting to pay off.
Shay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, in my experience, I think if I could sum it up, confidence is key. Out of all the technical assistance that and we'll get to, we'll get there. Mm-hmm. Lisa, knowing your background, we can probably do it with the best of them. But as I talk with my mentees, one thing I try to embark on them is if they don't respond to your email them again, call them. Show up with your mask on, do whatever you got to do, but you need to do what you got to do. But you can get all the technical assistance in the world, but if competence is not there, it won't be. And we can understand, we can go through, and all of us can maybe sit down, and that's a whole nother hour of why the confidence may not be there. It's not because it's innate to Black business owners. It is a response to what they have seen done or not be done in their community. So it's not the fault of the business owner. But what I look to do is, with our time together with our owners, as we give them homework or to-do lists, or that they have to go forward, my response is, don't let them turn you away, because your confidence, tenacity, it matters in business. And I think about all my owners that I see back in when I was a business banker. They weren't the best owners. Lisa, you probably would say the same. There are some owners that made 10, 20 million. They didn't really. They were still learning, but what they did, they surrounded themselves with people, and they were competent. They picked up the phone. They asked the question. I had a client one time email, and I emailed them back to meet, and they said, "Well, I'm not ready yet." And I was so fired up. I called. I said, "I'm the guy you talk to get ready. Don't try to prepare for the preparation." I said, "Girl, you better have this conversation with me." And she, we had a good old laugh about it. But instilling that confidence is important, and that's what I love about the program. To be able, we can get to the technical assistance. We do it very well. We can all do it with our eyes closed. But that's one thing, and I would say to all the business owners out there that are listening, you cannot have enough confidence when walking into the game of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and to that point, Shay, I want to just kind of jump in there a little bit. What's so interesting when you talk about not only the confidence factor, but sometimes we forget that a lot of our businesses are wearing 3 or 4 hats because they don't necessarily have the capacity, right, to bring in those people who can do it. So sometimes if you're not hearing from someone, it's not a lack of caring. It's I got to get to it in my list of priorities that need to happen. And so I think a lot of times the system doesn't allow for that because it's either automated or just kind of moving fast. But there is time where you've got to allow people to digest. You've got to have sort of the compassion of understanding they may be doing a few things at once. But it's not for lack of not wanting to do it. Do both of you see that?
Yes, I agree with you. And we also try to have our mentees develop a team of experts around them, right? And that to me is very important to have that, because then it gives you the ability to delegate. And it also, but it's important to know that your team of experts have to have your vision. They have to have your goal. I also understand that the affordability to have those team of experts sometimes may not be afforded to us all. But I also say you can't afford to not. So you have to tap into those teams of experts that either can fit your budget, maybe free, or you could do some sort of barter system. But it's important for you to have those team of experts around you if you want to grow and keep your sanity. Because like you said, we wear so many hats, and it could be from a dog owner to children and husband and wives. So, and our day-to-day work, and then ourselves. And you have to balance that work-life balance, and having a team of experts will help you do that.
Absolutely. And I wasn't even thinking of it in terms of the other stuff that comes with it, right? So, bringing that in, I think is really important. So we're going to, Lisa, I want to talk a little bit to you about the program itself, right? There are 4 modules to the program. I'm going to start first with navigating the future. Tell us a little bit about why that was important. It was the first module that came out probably the end of 2020. It had some great statistics in it as well, in terms of level setting, how many businesses, Black businesses in particular, were lost between February and April of 2020 due to the pandemic, which was 40%. About 23% sort of came back in that sort of May, June, July timeframe, but it was still a struggle. I know, some of the folks that Shay and I spoke with, they really had to, I know we use that word pivot all the time, but they really had to find another avenue for generating revenue. Talk a little bit about navigating the future and how that helps to do that. And
you said that number 40%. When you think of that number, such a low number, and only 23% was able to bounce back, right? And so when you look at those numbers and you look at our modular of navigating your future, that's our way of helping you to, whereas if we ever have another crisis like this, or even if we don't have a crisis, that you as a business owner understand the, I'm going to say pay to play, for lack of better description. And what I mean by that is, when you look at the PPP and how many of our businesses were unable to qualify for PPP, it was that lack of what I'm going to say again, pay to play, where they didn't pay themselves, so they didn't pay enough into their business or make their business a sound business to where they can go back and say, hi, I need these funds to keep my business awake, even if it wasn't employees, your rental, your utilities, and so on. So when you look at navigating your future, the modular, it talks about that in its entirety, of how, if you are a business, how you should be operating as a business, to whereas, again, that word pivot, if you had to pivot, how do I pivot? But understanding you as a business owner and the future of your business, that modular really kind of dissect what it means to be a business owner. Because a lot of us, we say we want to be business owners, but do we understand the concept behind owning your own business on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment, second-to-second of what it really means? So the modular will go through page by page, and it talks to you thoroughly about, are you a business? It really asks the question at the end, are you truly a business? And I think
to that point, what was really interesting about that module was not only did it talk about sort of here's some initial steps, it sort of grounded you in understanding a lot of the elements that you needed to have and really understand what banks are looking for, right? So we sort of talk different languages. You have sort of your language as a business owner, and then there's a banking language, particularly if you want to be able to access capital. And not aligning those things, I think, was really critical to success moving forward. Things like contingency planning, there was a lot of talk about that. Sort of moving to, digital frameworks. If you're not digital now, you've missed the boat. You have really got to be in a digital or e-commerce space. So a lot of those elements, I think, were really critical to having our businesses really rethink. How are they going to get to people? If your brick and mortar store is closed, how are you going to sell?
And what are all the avenues, like you mentioned, a digital, am I web-based, and you have to, and not, even if you take COVID away, these modules are telling you, you should be a business to be able to sustain through the good and the bad, right? So understanding all the different means, how you should operate the business, what's afforded to you, what is the general public looking at, how are we buying best? Right now, this is the click and buy, right? We all swipe, click, and buy. So you need to understand that digital world, that web-based world. I tap into that, and that module is going through different scenarios of how you can position yourself to be successful.
And so Shay, in this success module or success mode that we're talking about, cash is important, right? Because at the end of the day, that loss of revenue for those businesses meant it was an extreme loss of cash, really, ending some businesses, having some businesses rethink how they were doing things and retool a little bit. But it really was a level setter, right? And so understanding cash flow, I think, was a really critical module in having people not only understand how they manage their cash and what they're spending their cash on, but understanding what the bank also looks at when we talk about what does cash flow mean.
I think, we've done tons, and I've said it then, I'll say it now to owners. A lot of times we conflate understanding the word cash flow as a metric that underwriting uses to get a loan. And of course, we won't go through that here, but I've always said cash flow is an internal metric that the business owner uses to navigate between AP and AR. And there are other things that we can talk about. We kind of touch on Power to Capital, which Lisa will touch on, but cash flow is so important in understanding the fundamental foundational strategies to put in place to help the business navigate week to week or month to month. I always would tell business owners, if they're the new business owners, if you're stage one and you're just getting started, developing those critical processes are so important, because they're going to build a foundation when you're ready to rock it off and go to accelerate mode. To my business owners that's already been out there and they've been doing the hand-to-hand combat and surviving, and maybe they have a process that you kind of give a little side eye to, I challenge them on that, because when you have hiccups in the market, whether it be the pandemic, a new competitor, but how many owners thought that not being able to get plastic bags was going to be an issue during the pandemic? I know 4 different industries that was an issue with. And so when you have a cash flow mentality and you're looking at how much meat are you going to have on the bone, you start to then develop concepts around, now you say you've grown, you've been through the bumps and bruises, concepts around, I have 6 months of payroll saved up. I have a year, I can carry it. And what that does for the bank, is we kind of segue to Power to Capital, is that's going to bolster the P&L, bolster the balance sheet. And at the end of the day, the cash flow is the beginning language of the second chapter of your business story. The first chapter is the why, the legacy building. You need it, you gotta have it. You gotta have the big idea. But I tell owners all the time, that second chapter, it's not in words, it's in numbers. And the better that we can get at that, and either at this early stage of business, developing those good fundamentals, or if you're already in business, taking a reassess and taking a circle back, there's nothing wrong with that. You're able to survive those hiccups. And not only that, we got a lot of business owners, Black business owners, that came up. Not as many as we would have liked to have, but there are some business owners that came up in the pandemic. And the reason why is they had good cash flow practices that allowed them to buy businesses, buy lines of business, buy other lines of businesses, allowed them to pick up key man or key woman employees that they can bring into their company. These are these things that we don't think about when we think about managing cash flow. It's not just, it starts off with managing through AP and AR, but how do you continue to build your AP so you can build AR? Because one thing I've noticed, and I think Lisa can understand, the higher up in revenue you go, the higher up your expenses go. And it becomes super duper important to manage those and look at that. So I love understanding cash flow because it's the metrics that the owners can take in their own hand to really navigate month to month. And that module is a fun module for me. We get to talk about all the things like, inventory on hand and all that stuff. But these are things that I think that owners would do a little bit better. It's better than just looking at the bank account every day and saying, oh, I got some money in here, I'm doing good. We give you some other metrics to look at to really help bolster the confidence in the business navigating.
Yeah, that's what I love about you, Shay, is sort of that attention to the income statement and attention to the cash flow statement and the balance sheet, right? Not just making it about what's in the bank, or not just making it about, my taxes are coming up and I need to kind of reduce. I think all of us at this phase, you need to be trying to show what you have, because it's the only way that's going to get you to that next level of, just as you said, acquiring a company, bringing on new employees. Sometimes we are short-sighted in that sense of, I want to reduce my tax liability, but in that, it really reduces your ability to get a bank to say yes to you.
Listen, if Chase reduced my W-2, it reduced my ability to get an auto loan, a home loan, or anything. So I tell owners, think of your profitability like your business's W-2. It's not the same because one's a business, one's that, but the bank, and I'm pretty sure Lisa dive in more. Profitability is key. We can always talk strategies around tax mitigation. I think as a red-blooded American, it's okay to have that conversation. But the question is, are we doing it at the consequence of making the business not look profitable? And that's one thing that cash flow conversation does, is really start re-engineering that mind and running a profitable business and the reasons why.
Yep. And so with that, Lisa, let's talk a little bit about capital. The Power of Capital webinar is that module in and of itself really provides a great sense of being able to understand how to leverage capital, how to use it properly, kind of building again on the whole cash flow conversation as to what it is that you can do next and what vehicle you need in order to do it, right? So not borrowing a long-term need, borrowing long-term capital for a short-term need, right. Understanding sort of the mix of different types of capital, why you need it, why you don't. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So, and the Power of Capital, actually, it goes right into the next phase of this business modules that we're looking at. And it gets you to start to strategically thinking about your cash flow, you as a person, and are you lendable, are you bankable, and why are you a good investment for a bank? So I love this chapter because it really dives deep into the types of lending. There's 3 types. We have our credit cards, you have your business line and your business loan, and it really helps you to understand how you should use each of the 3 that I just mentioned. And for me, I think that this Power of Capital, it dives deeper into your account receivables. It talks about your liability, your liquidity, your leverage, and we break down what those words mean, right? So for, again, that team of experts, Shay and I are bankers, so we understand liquidity and leverage. There's a simple way to put that in the Power of Capital to help you to really break down those terms. What do they mean to you as a business? How do I define those? And like Shay said about the W-2, I love that. We can all relate to a W-2. So would you as a W-2 want your employee to take away money from you? No, you want to add money. You want to show that you're successful. So the Power of Capital not only teaches you how to borrow, who you should borrow from. It talks about the SBA, our different programs, the 504, which is so one of our most used, the 7A, which is their flagship. It even dives deep enough to understand and giving you scenarios on the percentages of the down payment so that you can see this is attainable. And I love that, because some people go, oh, I still can't afford it, but you can. And the SBA will show you how to use that vehicle. It also talks about your personal and business credit score. A lot of people confuse the two. They say, oh, my business is borrowing. Well, you are your business, right? So it teaches you that not only should you represent yourself, you are your business' biggest asset. So we want to make sure that your business credit looks good on all three of the bureaus, but we teach you how to make sure your business credit is also getting those same perks that your personal credit is earning. So that's another piece that the Power of Capital looks at. And then, finally, I would say it really helps us to understand the 5 C's of credit. We want to find out what the character, your credit buy-in, your conditions of the loan that you're requesting, who your industry competitors, like just looking at the deep diving into the 5 C's of credit to understand, am I bankable? Am I lendable? And if I'm not, how do I get there? So it doesn't kind of leave you hanging. It gives you the, in the beginning, we take a survey. We want to know, where are you in the knowledge? And our hope is to bring you up at least 1 notch, if not all 4 notches, to really understand, to arm you enough to say, if I'm not doing what I need to do, this is what I need to do. And if I am doing what I need to do, look at me, bank, I'm ready to be lendable. So I love
that last C, character, is one that I see the work that you all do in terms of that translation piece, helping them build on top of the character that we see with a lot of our businesses to help take them to the next level. So Shay, let's talk about what that next level is all about, because I love this idea of acquisition. I love the idea of joint ventures. I love the idea of mergers, getting new talent. All of that puts you in a position to be able to go after larger contracts, but also, expand the divisions that you might have within your own company to do greater business and gain greater revenue. So let's talk about what next level means.
Yeah, if I can use an analogy of making a cake, we've gone through everything. You put your ingredients in, Lisa's put hers in, I put mine in, and it's all in the container, it's in the oven, and what comes out is the next level business owner, right? We're now incorporating all the different ingredients together, and that's why technical assistance is very important. I know sometimes we can feel that African-American business owners are over-programmed. And again, that's a conversation to be had. But I will say, for what we are doing here at Chase, is really the things that we're hitting on are so particular. So when you come into your next level business module, how are we putting it all together? Are we thinking like an entrepreneur with those bigger opportunities? It's working on the business, not in the business. And that's why it's so important to, look, when you reclaim your future, you're going to get the confidence at the start of your journey or wherever you're at with your business. Maybe you got kicked around a little bit, you got to get your reconfidence. That's what Reclaim Your Future is for. Understanding cash flow. Now we're giving you some things to kind of help bracket you up that you can utilize yourself. Power of capital. How powerful do you feel? At least, how did our owners feel when we gave them a line of credit back in our old jobs? It's like they're already spending the money for the document signed, right? They're like, oh, I know I can do this, I can put this, that, and third. And when you have all those things, you're now working on the business. You're looking at, how do I be agile? How can I navigate challenges? You can now become a thinker looking in the future instead of really navigating day to day or week to week. You're understanding the value of people, putting people first, and really leadership, overall leadership, because a lot of owners in general, they feel because they're technically good. And this is general. Every owner, blanket, any ethnicity, sometimes they feel that because they're technically good, that technical skill translates to a business skill. Well, we know working in corporate America, great salespeople don't make good managers. Right. And we've seen it in sports. Great, and I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get Chase in trouble.
Don't say the names.
I'm not saying anybody's name. I say names. Not the names. They're going to really reduce my W-2 after that. So, how many great players that you've seen translate the leadership and struggle. Mm-hmm. And so this is why technical assistance is important, because we're taking you out of that player zone, that day-to-day mentality, that that soldier on the field and making you that general of your business, where you're working on it, you're developing new talent. Now you're thinking 5, 6, 7 years in the future. And you know, at the end of the day, it then establishes you to either create more businesses, sell that business. I know Lisa, you and I talk all the time. We don't really talk too much about Black owners selling their business and then starting again. The concept that you have to be with the business for 60 years and it passed on out, wonderful concept. I will not knock it in any ways. There are new concepts out there where people are starting businesses every decade. And I have owners that say, look, this decade I want to be in this industry. This decade I want to be in this industry. So why not start a business, run it up, build on it, create it, get a good share of market share, and then sell it off to a Fortune 500 company or to another mid or large size company, and then come on back and do it again. I mean, now we're getting into the fun part of business ownership, and that allows you to build your wealth. It allows you to educate your kids the way that you want to, and allows you that power and influence. So that way, as you make money, you build yourself in your community, you're not going to be an influencer, really steering your community where it needs to go and having your input. And those things are powerful, you know, and I think that, you know, that's what I love about this particular module, because we're taking the business to the next level, and the possibilities, they're endless. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think as we look across all these modules, what's really great, just so everyone, just as you see us having this conversation, we have these conversations as part of these sessions. And so we also get an opportunity to do this with the business owners who are participating in our sessions and answer questions really on the spot. I love this because it gives an opportunity to not only go to you, but then to also come back and get more of whatever is happening in the next module as we move forward. So as we kind of come to a close with this conversation, for both of you, and I'm going to bring up the website for us to sort of look through a little bit. I'd love to hear both of your thoughts on, once the modules are completed, what are the next steps, right? Does a business owner, reach out to a Chase banker? And I want to reiterate that you don't have to have an account to do that. That's how this program was designed. Do they, look for other, resources to go where it is that they want to go? What have you seen? I'm sure that you've spoken to some business owners after the program. What do you see happening with them? What are some of the stories that you can share?
Lisa, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, sure. So after the modules, what we found is the value of having a mentor to continue the conversation is powerful, right? So once the modules are over, we invite you to one-to-one mentorship. We have a landing page with resources. We talk about how to get your credit if it's not where it needs to be. And we also provide you information on grants that are out there, who you should be mimicking, what you should be looking at. So it's life beyond the modules. And the life beyond the modules is growing your business consistently. We have had mentors that have now had opportunity to compete in Walmart, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, CVS, depending on what your industry, right? But not only that, we have mentees that we're helping, be aware of what's going on in your neighborhood. For Los Angeles, we have the Olympics coming, we have the Super Bowl, the World Cup. There's so much opportunity. So we have our mentees right now becoming certified. So here comes another stream of revenue that they can start to compete, they bid, and just know what's going on. So after the modules, I think it empowers you to really get out there and build that confidence and know that if not now, I'm working toward that now. And if I am there now, how can I continue to grow in the now? And you realize that so many mentees are becoming mentors. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but they've learned so much from the program that now they're out there teaching, and they're so proud. They go, guess what? I'm sharing this information with my neighbor. So we invite you after the modules to reach out to a Chase representative. You don't, again, reiterating what you just said, you do not have to be a Chase customer. We are committed to the community.
What I love about what you just said too is that owner feeling, again, we're back to that level of feeling that confidence to help someone else, because that's really what this whole movement that we're looking at is really about, a viral moment, right? What can I take and how can I share it with someone else? And Shay, before you go, I wanted to just, before you comment on this, I wanted to just show everybody sort of the contact us piece with that form within Advancing Black Entrepreneurs in particular. and how simple it is. I'll just kind of run through this, how simple it is to just provide, basic information. The one thing that we do want you to do is when you get to this question, how did you hear about us? That you let them know you went to Advancing Entrepreneurs Program. We want you to do that. But everything else is pretty simple. And once you submit this, they will get back to you. They will give you a call and sort of move you into the next level. Mm-hmm. So Shay, can you talk a little bit about this question as well? Sort of, what have you seen as next steps? What stories are you hearing? What successes are you seeing as part of this?
Next steps is action. Business is the ultimate contact sport. I can continue my sports analogy. And so what I have seen owners do, whether it's from a one-time conversation or after a module, follow up with us, go to these particular pages and get signed up. I think that's the first action that you can do. So you can get looped into a senior consultant like myself or like Lisa. We're across the nation, not in every city, but we're in some of the major cities, but it doesn't matter. Just get signed up. That's part of our one, get signed up. And then from there, start for ways to implement some of the things that were talked about. But then if you're working with your one-on-one coach, or let's say you get someone like Lisa or myself to call, we'll give you some additional direction to continue going. So the thing is just continue going. Look, I'll even put the challenge, if myself or Lisa don't respond to an email us again and again and again, because that is the tenacity that is needed and for owners. So one success story that I saw was I had an owner, it's actually kind of crazy. She had a patent on a product, which that's just ludicrous in itself, because the patent numbers, for Black and brown people are below 2%. I think for Black women is out of that 2% is like half of that, less than half. And so she had this product, and through our coaching, she was like, "Man, I think I'm gonna develop another product." It's probably been another $4,000 or $5,000 to try to get another patent on. And I said, "Well, what are you doing with this patent right now?" And she said, "Well, I'm just selling it, and I'm trying to get into Target. I'm trying to get in it. They're not taking." I said, "Well, have you ever thought about licensing it?" She said, I never thought about it. You own it. I mean, worst they can tell you is no, and you just own it with that over. And so she went out there and actually went to a competitor, and they're in the final talks of due diligence of licensing her product. The anticipated, so she calls me back and we're going through the sales. I'm a numbers guy, so I whip out the calculator and I'm going, and I said, "Look, if you can hit this much of sales, another 95,000 to your bottom line." Mm-hmm. 95,000. So we now have doubled the business without even creating additional SKU. That's mailbox money for all as I'm concerned. So having those conversations with people like myself and Lisa, the good thing is we are industry agnostic. Sometimes that can be a little bit of a hindrance, but for the most part, we know a little bit about every industry. Listen, I got to throw out the table. Don't come talk Bitcoin. We may not know much about and all that stuff. Bitcoin mining. We're not near a volcano in South America that's helping Bitcoin mining. So some things we might know. There's some anecdotal things, but I will tell you a good basket of industries we know about. And you get that person to kind of think things through. And, that was a phenomenal success story for this lady who was going to have to spend an extra $4,000 or $5,000 to create a product we didn't even know was going to sell or not. She was like, "I'm doing this, I'm pull some out, and I'm telling my husband pull something out 401k." And we went through the licensing process, no extra whatever, maybe some money for attorneys, but she's going to get that back once they start selling. And there's an opportunity for her to get into a big box retailer. If that sells, that creates another opportunity to go back and have a conversation and say, "Hey, I got more stuff to put in there." And that's a beautiful thing. So it's a contact sport. Let's keep having that conversation. And that's what I would say. Get signed up as soon as possible. Take away some of the lessons, but contact, and you reach out and you talk to someone like me or Lisa. Let's be open, put it all out there on the table. We want to hear and we want to help. And that's the story where all of it came together really well.
And just to piggyback a little bit on the success, if you could pull back up our landing page, mm-hmm. You see these commercials and they say, "Oh, these are paid actors." But when you pull up our landing page, these stories on our landing page are actual mentees, right? So when you start up at the top, if you can scroll up a little bit more, this lady, one more, Tone Body Fitness is one of my mentees. And this is a woman who is competing in an industry that she didn't think she could be successful because A, she's a woman, and there's so many $9 a month gyms around her and so on and so. But the key to her success is we had to tap in what she did offer. And once we did that, her business grew leaps and bounds to the point where now we're looking at her purchasing real estate to move her business into. There was so much more than just the gym. And through our mentorship, we discovered she's just not weights and dumbbells, but there's so much more on the nutritional side and everything else that she can offer. And when you look through, all of these are mentees. If you scroll through, she's a mentee, how to grow her business. These are not paid actors, right? The next one, this is a lady construction company, Indeed Construction, the only lady Latino business that she is now competing on government contracts. She's out there with what they used to say, the big boys, and she's successful. So these are mentees that we're meeting day to day, and we're helping them to tap into that additional knowledge. So when you talk about people that are out there with the grit and the tenacity, this is what we're trying to push forward. There's a saying that I can't hold a football and kick it too, right? So we want to get on the field with you. And as long as you're willing to either hold the football or kick it, whichever role you want to play, we're going to play that other role for you to move your business forward. So I just wanted to share with you that this is real. And this is that, strike while the iron is hot. Well, the iron is hot. Don't miss this opportunity, because if you don't, someone else is going to jump in and grab what should have been for you.
I do think that we have this window of opportunity, and I want as many Black businesses as possible to get through that window. The stories that you all shared, the differentiation that's needed. There's sometimes, we can't see it ourselves, but I could talk to you, Shay, I could talk to you, Lisa, and something just kind of jumps out. And so the ability to sound off, right, to have a sounding board with someone else is really, really critical in this process as well. Before we close, I just want to ask you, is there one or two tips that you want to give to folks as it relates to taking advantage of this program as we move through the coming months?
I think the key word is now. Act now. Get on that page, register, find out more about how we can empower you. Shay said after the modules, what comes is action. And the action is to strike now. Get on, log in, find out the resources. And if not Chase, find out the community areas, like you have the chamber. Find out the chamber is doing in addition. I'm not going to say not Chase, I'm going to say in addition to Chase, because you have to tap into all your resources. Get the mentees that you need behind you. Make sure you have your team of experts and allow us to guide you through that process. Shay and I come with many years of experience. And because we work with Chase, we've had opportunity to cross lines of business where I was once a loan officer, so I could speak to that. It's just so many different, and Chase actually puts us in the position to be experts at what we do. What we don't know, they make sure they arm us with the information so that when we provide it to you, we're giving you solid information. So act now, don't delay. If this is something that's been in your heart, bring it to the forefront. As Shay mentioned, it's in the oven, right? So you've got all the ingredients. You're the secret ingredients. Let's put it in the oven and start to bake this.
Yeah, I second all of that, and I would just add on what we're doing here is you're finding your tribe, and you're finding your banking tribe, and go out there and find your industry tribe. Go out there and find your tribe, whether that be by whether it's by your interest of the woman's own cohort or Black men's own cohort or any you have to have multiple tribes. And so we just represent one. So it's not going to just stop with us, but take that advice, but keep looking to be around other business-minded people. And that's the beautiful thing about this era, that is shine light on programs that have been there for a while. And definitely not only take care of this, you got your financial tribe, and I'm sure Lisa and same for me. We know of other tribes and associations and things that we can join, that we can direct you to. Go there, and then when you have that trifecta of tribes, you can't lose. You just can't lose, because you're in it. And when you're in it and you're just around it, and you're around other people that eat, sleep, and breathe it, success, it's just a natural outcome. Success is just a natural outcome. So continue to find your tribe, keep your feet moving, and yes, action, action, action.
Yeah, I like that tribe. And I would encourage you all to write down tribe called, draw a line, and add your business name. So it's the tribe called your business name, and build on that tribe.
Well, I want to thank both of you. It has been a pleasure being with you throughout this past year and a half. It's been a joy to share conversations with you, to help business owners when we have these separate conversations with them, and just to have you partner and have Chase for Business partner with the U.S. Black Chambers. It is such a needed program of what we're doing, and really helps to move our businesses, have them really thinking in a whole new light. And I think that's what I really enjoy about the work that we're doing together. So Lisa Stevens, Shay Taylor, thank you so much for being a guest today. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and looking forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.